This is the fish tank ecosystem, a perfect balance of aquatic life working together to build a thriving ecosystem. Well, that's what I'm hoping. In the end, will the fish work together and build a whole new world, or will they choose not to work together and send the ecosystem down to crumble in pieces? Stay tuned to find out, but first, let's go back to day 1 and start building the fish tank, soon to become a thriving ecosystem. Hello, and welcome to day 1. Before we do go ahead and talk about all the supplies we're going to be using in this ecosystem build, please subscribe, hit the bell notification on all so you not miss every video, and please like this video. Let's go ahead and check out all the supplies we'll be using in this fish tank ecosystem build. Now, the supplies we're going to be using in this build is going to be 3 different types of substrate, driftwood, fancy rocks, 3 different types of aquatic plants, the spray foam and aquarium glue. Then we need a filter. We also need an air pump, a heater, and we need the lights, and of course we have to have the fish tank. Now let's go over to the blueprints and go start building this build. The main goal of this fish tank build is to make it as green and full of life as possible. Now, in order for the plants to thrive, we need 2 layers of substrate. The top one is going to be sand, which will add the most detail, and then we need a bottom layer of soil. Then we need to somehow put all the 3 plants in this, so we have the grass and the bigger plants in the back. Then we need a great mountain landscape in the back, so we'll be adding driftwood on that, and we'll also be adding that moss I told you guys about a second ago. Then we need to add some rocks so the future aquatic animals can find that area as a home. Then, those rocks are going to be incredibly heavy, so something has to be under the substrate in order to hold all that weight without it cracking. So, I'll be adding an egg crate to hold all that up. So, now that I feel confident in this build, let's go ahead and go in the greenhouse and start building this incredible ecosystem. The first thing and possibly most important is to add that egg crate, and in order for that to stay in the same spot the entire build, I need to glue it down, and then I'm going to have to let that dry for about 2-ish hours. Now, in order to get kind of an idea of where to put all this driftwood once the foam is down, I'm going to go ahead and kind of place them on the back of the fish tank to get a good idea of what it should look like. Now that I kind of got an idea of where all that driftwood is going to go, I can go ahead and start adding the foam. Now, with the wall completely being done, it is insanely important to make sure all of this can dry for at least 24 hours, so I'll see you guys tomorrow when I do go ahead and add all that substrate. Alright, and it is the next day, and good news, the spray foam is completely dry, so I can go ahead and start adding the substrate. In order for the plants to thrive, I need to add a good bottom layer so the plants can thrive off of that amazing soil. And to make sure I have a good amount on the bottom, you'll see me add a lot more as the video goes by. Alright, I'm feeling pretty confident with that bottom layer, so I can go ahead and add all that sand, and that'll add a lot of detail and beauty to this fish tank. And it is incredibly important that I do lay this out completely flat so nothing goes wrong when I do place all those rocks. Now that the substrate is completely laid out, I'm going to go ahead and move the fish tank to where I'll be filming the rest of this video. Now for the funnest part of today's video, I can go ahead and lay down all those rocks, and then after we lay all those down, I can go ahead and lay down all of those beautiful plants. Now that all of those rocks are laid down, I'm going to go ahead and add a lot more moss on the back of the fish tank, and then I can go ahead and start adding a lot more plants throughout all of that substrate. This is looking so cool. And now there are a few electrical things we need to add to this fish tank to help it thrive even more. Now the first thing I'm going to be adding is going to be that air pump, and I ended up hiding that hose behind the spray foam to make it look even cooler. Now the most important thing in this build is going to be that filter, and it does not fit in the back, so I'm going to take that bottom piece off and I'll be installing that later in this video. Now it is time for the heater, but what's funny is I actually don't end up using that heater in this fish tank build. Now the coolest thing I'm going to be installing is going to be that light, and that light will really help transform this ecosystem, especially at night. And now with the fish tank being completely done, I can go ahead and add all that dechlorinized water. Now for 48 hours, I'm going to let this water go ahead and circulate through all that filtration to make sure all that water can be as clean and healthy as possible when the fish are added, so nothing will go wrong. Alright, it's been about 48 hours, and today's going to be a big day because all the aquatic life will be introduced to the ecosystem. The first and possibly most important is going to be the mystery snail. The mystery snail will eat algae, dead plants, and uneaten food, which will especially help keep the water clean and clear. Then I'll be adding the ghost shrimp. The ghost shrimp have a major role too because they will help clean up algae and rotting food just like the snail. For the very last fish I'll be adding is going to be the elephant ear guppies. The guppies have one of the biggest roles in the ecosystem because they'll be adding color to it, and if you look at all three, I have one male and two females to hopefully reproduce over the next year. The ecosystem is now beginning its major role, but the question we've all been asking each other is, will the fish work together and build a whole new world, or will they choose not to work together and send the ecosystem down to crumble in pieces? Sadly, you will have to wait to find out. Luckily for you, throughout the next month, I will be closely examining the ecosystem looking for any big changes going on. So that means there will eventually be 2 videos for this ecosystem series. Also, if you guys are wondering where I got everything I used in this ecosystem build, you can check the description below where I have everything listed. If you guys like these types of building videos, you can click on the building playlist right here. If you guys want to see the most recommended video that YouTube thinks you'll like the most, you can click on that video right here. And please subscribe right here. And thank you so much for watching today's video.